But first, the Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier being built right now in Newport News will be home ported at Naval Station Norfolk.
We're talking about the Gerald R. Ford. We're also following news that 2 more ships will be coming to Little Creek. 10 of your side's Chris Horne first reported this at midday, and since then, he has gotten reaction. Chris?
Yeah, Nicole, with the carrier's crew, their families, and the maintenance involved in running those huge ships, estimates run into the hundreds of millions of dollars in economic impact. It's been christened and it's been launched, but it hasn't been commissioned yet. And even though it's not an official Navy ship, the Gerald R. Ford is already causing excitement in Hampton Roads. Senator Mark Warner calls today's news a major victory for Hampton Roads and Virginia. The Gerald R. Ford will be home ported at Naval Station Norfolk.
I think that's terribly important and an affirmation of the fact that since we both build the carriers, refurbish the carriers, and home port carriers, that because of this scheduling issue that we're going to benefit for the foreseeable future.
The Gerald R. Ford is not just a new aircraft carrier, it's a new class of carriers. All the current Norfolk carriers are Nimitz class. A Ford is roughly the same size but more efficient. The new carrier can launch aircraft 33% faster than the previous class. The Ford and its air wing can operate with fewer personnel than previous carriers, but the Navy says its crew will still be about 4,500 people. A recent ODU economic study puts the impact of a carrier in port at about $300 million a year.
That's good news. We can't say it's going to be forever, but if we can take that kind of economic boost for the next 3 to 5 years, or even perhaps a little bit more, that's great for the region.
Commission date for the Gerald R. Ford is set for March of next year. Once it does go online officially, the Navy says it will be the premier forward asset for crisis response and strike power in major combat. And now that Little Creek Fort story news. The Virginia Beach base will get 2 additional amphibious ships for a total of 4. This will happen over the next 5 years. So instead of feared cutbacks, Little Creek Fort story will get 2 more ships. More on the Gerald R. Ford and what this will mean for Hampton Roads coming up on WAVY News 10 at 6. Chris Horne, 10 on your side.
And Chris alluded to this earlier, Navy carriers are economic powerhouses for Hampton Roads. To put it in perspective, there are an average of 5,000 sailors attached to each aircraft carrier. The average enlisted sailor, an E4, makes about $30,000 a year. Many of these sailors bring their families with them, so you can imagine how much money one single carrier means to our region. So where are the Navy's 10 active aircraft carriers now? Norfolk has 5, not including the Ford, the Harry S. Truman, the USS George H.W. Bush, which are at Naval Station Norfolk, the Dwight D. Eisenhower at Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Portsmouth, that's being overhauled and should be finished in a few months. The Abraham Lincoln, that's in the middle of a complex overhaul process at Newport News Shipyard. The Theodore Roosevelt, which left Naval Station Norfolk yesterday, will move to San Diego. The George Washington is based in Japan, but will come back to Norfolk. The Ronald Reagan will replace the Washington in Japan. The Nimitz is based in Washington State. Along with the USS John C. Stennis, the Carl Vinson is in San Diego.